Hey there, everybody. I'm MixMastaPJ, and I'm joined by Ninjembro, who was supposed to say hello there, but I guess he
hello.
didn't.
This is Ninjembro.
Gosh. And this is American Gladiators for the Nintendo Entertainment System. It came out in 1991. It's very loosely based on the television show. It plays a bit more like a platformer with individual levels and stuff like that we have to fight our way through. There are 4 levels in total, and each of those levels have 5 total events, with the final level at the very end being an obstacle course called the Eliminator, just like the TV show. For those who have seen the show before, that's roughly where the similarities will end here, but we'll see in just a minute. This game consists of a whole lot of really difficult, crazy controls at times, and we're going to do everything we can to try and survive these gladiators when they're giving us their best. So, why don't we get started here? We'll get the timer ready. Timer starts when we hit 1 player start in 3, 2, 1, go.
Alright, so you're going to see MixMastaPJ starts here with an event called Joust. The reason he does that first is pretty simple. He just mashes A after starting the game, and it's the first one to select. In each Joust level, he's going to be fighting against 4 gladiators while jumping across these platforms. Each gladiator can block and be attacked in one of 3 locations: high, mid, or low. It's always blocking 2 of those 3, so there's only one place that can be attacked at any given time. Now, they're relatively predictable, so most of the time you're not going to see MixMastaPJ struggle with any of these fights. After the 3rd gladiator, there's always going to be a super stick that he can pick up. You see it right there on the screen now, which gives you a 1 shot at an instant KO on the opposing gladiator. So you're going to see that happen right here. Boom, done. At the end of the level, the timer counts down, and he moves on to the next event.
Alright, so that was Joust. Relatively easy. The next event, Wall, is generally regarded as the most challenging of the events. It uses a really weird control where we have to use the A and the B button to control our left and right hand, or our right and left hands, rather. So I tried to show you a second ago there how I hold the controller. I actually put it on my lap, and then I tap my index and middle fingers on the A and B buttons back and forth, kind of like I was playing a couple of piano keys. And it allows me to hit the buttons rather quickly in an alternating fashion, rather than using my thumb like I typically would on any other kind of game. Alright, so the wall there also works where we try to get to spots to spawn the gladiators so that they come at us like red turtle shells, like heat-seeking missiles essentially. So if we can position ourselves around some obstacles, it works really, really nicely to get those guys to fall off the wall and clear our path for us. So, this game plays a lot different than the SNES version. I actually like the SNES version too, but it plays more like an online, like a little bit of a tournament that you can play with multiplayer and whatnot. This plays, like I said before, far more like a platformer. So here we are at Human Cannonball, and you'll see us have to jump to catch the rope, which is definitely not like the TV show. But more importantly, we have to fight 4 of these guys and jump from platform to platform. Now, this is rather formulaic. We're hoping to get task level execution in Human Cannonball today. It's one of 2 events that we're able to do that. But this particular gladiator poses usually the first challenge to beginners, because you can't release at any point there without the gladiator blocking. Your first opportunity to actually get a kill is on the 2nd cycle. And we'll see a couple others that have like 2nd, 3rd, or even 4th cycle kills a little bit later. But we try to always grab the end of the rope and press A to release it. We're about to head into Powerball now, which is an auto-scroller. If we have any donations, awesome, but if not, Artemis, if you want to talk about Stack Up and the great organization that it is.
Yeah, of course. So Stack Up is the charity we're supporting with this event. It is to help the mental health of veterans through gaming. And of course, if you want to learn a lot more about it, you can do !Stack Up, but if you would like to donate, do !Charity chat. But of course, don't feel pressure to donate. We understand that these times are quite troubling. Of course, if you're able to.
Awesome, thank you for that. Powerball is like your one spot in each level where you can try to earn some extra lives. So they put a timer in the corner at 60 seconds in level 1, and it goes down by 5 seconds at each actual level. And if you stuff the ball in all 5 of the buckets, then you get an extra life that way. But there's no, you can't die here. There's no actual penalty. You can just stand here the whole time and let the timer run out. And nothing bad would actually happen. But yeah, it's just an easy way to rack up some 1-ups if you need them a little bit later.
Yep, so here you're going to see MixMastaPJ go into Assault 1. The Assault levels are basically shmups, like the old Gladiators games and other various games of the category.
That's terrible.
The Gladiator there at the top that he's shooting at has 3 HP, and we also have 3 HP. The weapons that he picks up there do 1 damage. In later levels, it's different. Basically, the amount of health that the Gladiator has goes up 1 each level, but you still only get 3 shots per weapon, so you're going to see different strategies as the levels go on.
Yep. Alright, so that was level 1. Relatively easy. Most people who play this game, you know, if they're able to beat the wall, can get to level 2, but that's when the difficulty really ramps up. So, the Joust patterns that Ninjembro spoke of before get far more complicated here in level 2, so you can see that the Gladiators start blocking, and I have to change where I'm aiming. Like we said before, there's only 1 out of 3 spots the Gladiator's not blocking, and while it's relatively formulaic, getting hit once can be really brutal because then you don't know exactly where to jump back in on the pattern. So like right now this Gladiator has a low, high, high pattern, and when they block I should go in the other spot. But sometimes they hit me, and then when I swing back I'm not quite sure which opening is there. Level 3 actually has the most complicated of the patterns, but level 4 the patterns change very, very quickly. Like from step to step, so it's really hard to keep track of where you would be. Alright, there we go. Let's grab the super stick, which is over here on this platform this time. And then we can one-hit kill with a low vulnerability here. Nice. Alright, it's a huge step up in difficulty here for Wall 2, so Ninjembro can tell you about what we're about to see with that mess.
Yep, so the walls are different each level, so unlike all the other events where things are pretty much the same, the walls are very different from level to level. You're going to see a lot more diagonal movement here. You're going to see a lot more manipulation of the opposing gladiators. So there are some interesting areas in these walls where you can do little diagonal tricks where diagonal movement actually lets you skip some areas. You're not going to see too much of that here, but you will see that on a later wall. It is worth noting that moving diagonally is optimal whenever possible. And there you just saw MixMastaPJ pick up a little glove. Those are great. They allow you to move without having to mash A and B, but they also make you move really, really fast. And it's still very easy and very possible to die while using the gloves by not grabbing onto one of the handles there on the wall. So as MixMastaPJ is handling this wall, like he's making sure to be very, very particular with his movement. And that was a really, really good wall too.
Yeah, the gloves make it really hard to be precise, and there's a lot of spots, particularly in these later levels, where there's like very narrow hallways and you lose the ability to have precision, so it gets a lot riskier. Alright, so here's Cannonball 2. Slightly different than Cannonball 1, obviously the color palette, some of the platforms are going variable speeds and whatnot, but the thing that's going to be most exciting here is Gladiator 4, we're going to actually try to clip through the ceiling and perform a little glitch to try and knock him out there. So the trick to doing that is you definitely need to grab these gloves here that fly at us. Okay, they give us the ability to slide up and down the rope. Normally we don't have that ability. And then we're going to try and jump off this platform at the very, very top and very, very right. And
Got it.
yeah, we got it. Cool. That saves about 6 or 7 seconds here, because if not, you have to wait for a second cycle and you end up with a really bad spot on the rope. Level 3 we can do that as well, and it saves like 30 or 40 seconds, because that's typically a 3-cycle kill that's required. Alright, so we got another power ball here. Same thing as before, just 5 less seconds. So, if we happen to have any donations, awesome. If not, Artemis, no worries, let me know.
Let me refresh the page to see if any have come in since then. Unfortunately not.
Alright, no
Of
worries.
course, Stack Up is a good charity. Won't go through all the points again, just exclamation point stack up, exclamation point charity in the chat.
We still might get a 2-up out of this. Let's see. Ah, that's bad.
You need all the extra lives you can get for the Eliminator.
I mean, if we're gonna get super greedy with the glitch, depending where we are estimate-wise, maybe. Yeah, the Eliminator actually has a glitch too, but it's rather hard to get.
Talk about that later, yeah.
Yeah, and so if we got a couple extra lives, we might take a chance with it.
Alright, so here we are at Assault 2. Like I said earlier, it's a little different than Assault 1. First of all, you'll notice that the weapon pickups are now to the side of the barriers instead of behind, so they're a little riskier to get. The Gladiator there at the top of the screen has 1 extra HP, so he takes 4 shots now instead of 3. You're going to see MixMastaPJ, take an unfortunate death there. But you're going to see him still try to shoot at the Gladiator to kill him before getting to the end of the stage, but if he has to run to the end, he has to run to the end. But it's still a little faster to get the kill as opposed to rush to the end of the stage. Also, it's worth noting that when he shoots at the Gladiator at the top, it can sometimes manipulate his movement a little bit as he tries to dodge the shots, so there's a little bit of strategy there. But yeah, that was Assault 2.
Yeah, sometimes the weapons are just a better defense than they are in offense. Alright, so here's Joust 3, where the patterns end up being like 6 or 7 steps long. So we're just going to really try and not get hit, because it's going to be really hard to join back in and figure out exactly what step on the pattern we're at. Or even if we happen to guess the 1/3 chance that we're in the right vulnerability, we might guess the next one wrong because we joined the pattern like 3 steps later than we expected or something. Alright, good. Once we got blocked there, I was worried. Alright, this super stick after this kill is actually really hard to get to. You gotta go really, really fast. And I don't know if you guys can tell from what I'm doing here, but the jumping controls are really awkward. It's very slow animation on the runs, so it's really hard to figure out exactly when to jump at the last possible moment. But, you know, this game used a lot more on sound effects and graphics and licensing than it did on controls, and that's just fine. It's basically 5 games in 1, so what do you really expect?
Alright, here MixMastaPJ is going to go into Wall 3, so kind of like the other walls, it's a really big time for him to concentrate. There's a lot of execution here. The general gameplay is the same. You're going to see him try to manipulate where these gladiators are going to spawn. As he said earlier, they're basically heat-seeking missiles, so here you're going to see, up a little ahead, there's some really humorous interactions that you can have with some of these gladiators to make them just fall. Now here he had to scroll the screen all the way over to the right, but now he's going to try to make a little diagonal trick here to skip that right side. Got it. That kind of avoids that one gladiator there, makes these two a little bit easier to dodge. And then from here it's pretty straightforward. Dodge the gladiators, have really good movement. He's going to grab some gloves along the way.
Alright, cool, we got the auto kill.
Yep, those gladiators spawned and then just fell. Nothing to it.
Yep. Yeah, if you go
just gotta
through
make sure
that,
they don't knock you down on the way.
Yeah, if that last little rung there, if you go through the lower rung instead of the middle rung or top rung, then those 2 gladiators don't spawn. And then they're going to be right on top of you when you come across the second time. So it's... Alright, this one's really, really fast, so we gotta focus on this real quick. Alright, cool. Alright, here's our first long distance shot. So we're going to have to grab the rope without being able really to see it before we go for a kill here. Alright, cool. Another long distance shot here, only this time we'll have the luxury of getting the gloves. Kind of use those as our cue. Slide down and reposition on the rope. And then we'll try and do the glitch here, but we're going to do it on the second cycle because the rope goes so slow. We weren't able to get it. Alright, so this is a 3-cycle pass-through. So that glitch, had we been able to clip through the ceiling, would have saved like 30 seconds. It would have been real nice, but we'll take it here. It was 6 o'clock on the 3rd cycle. Oh, we got blocked. That's even worse. And then we got to do it all again. And we don't have gloves.
So, the worst part about dying late in a cannonball like this is you'll notice that timer at the top of the screen reset back to 99, where before he died, it was like in the 60s. So when he actually finishes the stage, there's going to be even more time lost because the counter has to go all the way down to 0. So not only do you have to redo it, but you have to wait for a longer timer. So it's really unfortunate to take a death on one of these stages.
Yeah. It's weird letting go of the rope, like, almost before you get to 6 o'clock at times. It doesn't look like you'll even make it all the way there, but it works, and the platform will lower just to to the exact spot. You got to think about where you're going to be when the momentum takes you there, not so much when you actually release off the rope. Alright, so, I think this is probably a good a time as ever to talk about the Eliminator. So, the glitch that we mentioned before, the Eliminator actually has 5 sections to it. It has a platforming section where we're jumping a whole bunch, and then it's got a hand bike section, and then it's got a conveyor belt platform section. Then it has a second hand bike section, and then it takes you to the familiar zip lines that you're used to seeing in the TV show at the very end. So, what we're going to actually try to do is trick the game into thinking that we're in the second hand bike section when we're only in the first hand bike section. And that lets us skip ahead about 50 seconds or so. And the way that we do that is if we get hit by a medicine ball while we're on the hand bike, and then jump back onto the hand bike again, it'll spawn a second hand bike. So that when you respawn after the death, what'll happen is the game will be like, well, we've spawned 2 hand bikes already, so clearly they're in the second hand bike section, but the game gets tricked and skips you ahead a whole bunch there. So it doesn't happen very, very often, but it did happen recently in a world record run, so maybe our luck will continue with that.
So here on Assault 3, it's really the first Assault that you really don't go for the kill on the Gladiator just because he has 5 health. So ideally you just rush to the end and hope for a 40 or a 41 on the timer. MixMastaPJ got a 40 there, it's pretty good.
Yeah, you lose a little bit of movement speed when you get shot, but we'll take it. I mean, getting 5 hits would probably use more time, to be honest. Alright, so here's Joust 4. As I said before, this one's a little bit tricky just because the patterns change so fast. So, like, he's already blocking there. He's blocking here. So we've already gone through, like, 3 steps. And that was with him not even hitting me once. But once the patterns get really complicated towards Gladiator 3 and 4, the blocking is just as punishing as actually getting hit. Now I'm kind of curious as to where we're actually... I think we're in the right spot. Okay, cool. Alright, and this super stick is actually incredibly difficult to grab because we have to go forward to spawn it and then run backwards to catch it. Uh-oh. Oh wow, that was the right guess. Alright, so we'll go forward, then back, and hopefully we don't fall. So if we fall, then we actually have to fight the 4th guy. Cool. Then we start jumping forward, obviously, so we can get to this guy with a super stick at maximum speed. Twiggy, the game ends after level 4, so... As much as I would love to see that these developers made 99 different walls, that doesn't happen to be the case.
Alright, so here we go into Wall 4. By far the hardest of the walls. You're going to see MixMastaPJ starts here on the... going to the left to avoid some of these Gladiators.
Alright,
in the middle here, this section is incredibly technical. There's pretty much only one way to get through this. So you can see he's going very, very slow. You do have to move fast enough to avoid that Gladiator, which he did. But for somebody not familiar with the game, like, this wall is nuts.
Alright, this Gladiator is the scariest one, I think. You have to go diagonal real quick before they fall on you.
Yep. And then between here and the end of this wall, it's not too bad. There's 2 very quick speed sections where he has to mash... Oh, takes a really unfortunate death there.
Sorry,
towards the end of this wall, towards the end of this wall, there's 2 really quick speed sections where it's basically mash as fast as you can to avoid the Gladiators. But compared to this middle technical section, you know, once you get through this, like it's not free by any means, but you know, I'm sure MixMastaPJ would agree that this middle section is probably one of the hardest in all 4 walls.
It's definitely the hardest section. I do think the last Gladiator is worth mentioning being very difficult because you have a very narrow hallway and basically have to sprint past them. Hopefully we have enough speed there for that. And let's try and be... I was taking safe strats with the gloves, but then it like kept the Gladiator alive. So I should have been more aggressive with the gloves at the beginning and put them in bad spots. Alright, yeah, if the gloves ran out there, I was definitely really conservative. Oh, this is my favorite Gladiator. Like I said, they're heat-seeking missiles, right?
Just go down a little bit, boom, gone.
Alright, and we gotta sprint past this last one here. Alright, cool.
Got there.
Alright, that's Wall 4, so we're done with the hard stuff. Human Cannonball 4 is... Now, it doesn't have the glitch that we had before, and it has a very tricky 4th Gladiator. That's a 4-cycle, so... Hopefully we'll land that on the first try and not have to watch that twice like we did in Human Cannonball 3. But, for the most part here, it's still the easy one at the beginning, and then we've got some long-distance shots here. This is actually a 2-cycle on the first jump, because we can't get that rope.
Springy Rubber in chat mentioned on the wall a nice instance of commentator's curse.
Oh yeah, for sure. This one you make a blind jump for in order to get the gloves. which I think is pretty fun, but it's not that difficult. This is the tricky one, though. If you're like playing this game and just casually, you never went to GameFAQs to find out exactly when you were supposed to release it and looked at that wonderful text file of backslashes and ASCII art of the American Gladiators logo, then you're never going to know that this is basically impenetrable until the 4th cycle. When the 17-minute task that glitches its way through Joust in the wall is waiting for the 4th cycle of Cannonball, you know they tried everything. Alright, so
any testers out there that want to take a stab at finding a quicker strategy?
Yeah, I would love that. I hate waiting for this, and I hate taking a death there and having to wait for it twice. So, glad we only had to do it once there. Alright, Artemis, this is our last Powerball before the Eliminator. Anything to add there, or are we good?
We did get 2 donations. We got, both were anonymous, unfortunately. One was $10 with no message. The second one was for $20, and that had the message of, "Thanks for putting this on, always happy to donate for a mental health cause."
Awesome.
Thank you so much, Anonymous and Anonymous.
For all we know, they might be the same person.
I know.
They might just be somebody named Anonymous.
Exactly. We're very thankful for that. They might not be so thankful for their name, I don't know, but I'm very appreciative of that, for sure. Alright, so, we're just going to try and not get hit at all here in the next assault, and then you guys will get to see the madness that is the Eliminator, and hopefully we'll be able to land the glitch for you guys.
Yeah, this assault is terrible. Like, look at these terrible weapon placements. They're on the other side of the walls.
I didn't feel comfortable going for that one there. He was just too close. Otherwise, I would have grabbed it for defense purposes, but didn't make a whole lot of sense. Yeah, he's like right on top of that one, too. Alright, we're just going to try and not get shot. We got 3 hits. We're fine.
Yep.
Oh, he didn't even hit us anyway. Alright, Eliminator time.
Alright, so the Eliminator. As MixMastaPJ said, there are 5 sections to it. This first one is a little platforming section. These medicine balls are complete RNG. There are some that you have to make a jump, and then a medicine ball can appear and kill you. And there's nothing you can do about it. Now, this looks like an auto-scroller, and it kind of is, it kind of isn't. You'll notice as he's moving to the right of the screen, it starts scrolling faster, and when he's not moving to the right, it's scrolling at the normal speed. If you touch the left side of the screen, you die. It doesn't push you, it just kills you. So you are definitely... Oh, let's see if he gets the...
Oh, come on!
So what he was hoping for there is for one of those medicine balls to knock him off back onto the platform so he could jump and spawn the second-hand bike, as he said earlier. Unfortunately, no such luck, so he has to do the entire Eliminator.
Those are so close, too.
So the third section is this conveyor belt section. This is where a lot of those blind jumps happen. And these conveyor belts are ruthless. These jumps are really awkward. So here's the first jump. Boom. You know, he jumped, that medicine ball appeared. There's nothing you can do about it. Absolutely nothing. It's ruthless.
I'm glad I got to show at least one of those.
Yeah.
If I wasn't going to get the hand bike glitch, I'm glad I at least got a completely unavoidable kill. Oh my goodness, that's bad. Can we make this next jump? No! Alright. No. And just like the TV show, if you touch the left side of the screen, you die, right?
Yeah. That's exactly how the TV show worked. Oh no!
This is why we got all those 1-ups.
Yeah. Oh, Springy Rubber does say, you know, we wanted to see the whole game anyway.
Right. This is unreal. Okay, we've had really bad RNG with these medicine balls, but that's okay. For a game that's actually really punishing in a lot of its mechanics, they're actually pretty generous with the extra lives.
Yeah, you get an extra life for every level finished, and you can stock up on lives in the Powerball section.
Powerball, you can get them in Human Cannonball, you can get them
right.
By scoring enough points, I believe, as well. Although I don't typically do that, because I don't always go for all the kills everywhere. Okay.
Oh,
I know we got 7 more lives left, come on.
With the medicine balls, is if MixMastaPJ is ducking when a medicine ball hits him, it won't affect him. Like, the medicine ball bounces off him.
And, like, I get it, the Gladiators have some pride, right? They don't want some, like, average Joe off the street to come in and beat him in all the events 4 times and then beat them in the Eliminator. I get it. but come on. Come on,
Yeah,
Game Tech, you had one job. Oh, that's awful.
They tell you how many lives you have.
If I pause, it says I got 5 lives remaining.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. But I also have I have like 2 continues from beating levels previously, so don't worry, we're gonna finish the run. What's our estimate?
Yeah, 45-minute estimate.
Oh, I don't know if we could take 45 minutes if we wanted to.
Right. I think you would run out of continues.
I would run out of continues. Like, even if I took all the time deaths, I think I would still end before 45. So we way good.
All right, so here comes another rough jump.
Come on. Okay.
Okay.
This is the last bad one. All right, cool.
All right, and here's the second hand bike, which, if he had gotten the hand bike glitch and then taken a purposeful death, the game would have just warped him here.
It would have been a really convenient section to avoid, I'm just saying. It would have looked a whole lot nicer.
Notice how much time we lost taking deaths to stupid things.
Yeah.
Alright, so here's the zip line. This is essentially, like, it's not 100% free, but this is essentially the end of the game already. All he does is waits for the zip line to get to the end, hits the button to release and grab one of the next one. It's all timing. He pretty much hasn't memorized at this point. Have you ever tried to do blindfolded zip line?
No. Oh my god,
Well,
no. No, my timing is based off those like white blocks. I kind of after a little while and the speed picks up, I increase the number of blocks before I release. That's what I go by. There's no way I could do this via audio. But yeah. All right, that's American Gladiators. We've now finished the Eliminator, so time will happen when we hit or when the timer in the corner hits 0. It counts down here for a second. So we wanted the sub 25, and we would have if it wasn't for the Eliminator being mean. So I'm still feeling pretty good about that. But that's American Gladiators. I hope you guys really enjoyed that. It's a game that's near and dear to my heart. I still remember going with my grandmother to the toy store and grabbing like the ticket on the wall and then walking up to the video game counter at Kitty City or Toys R Us or wherever it was at the time, and them could bring it back the new in-box copy. Like, this is the same version of the game that I've been playing like literally my entire life. So I'm really happy to be able to share it with you guys today. And thanks to GSA for putting on an amazing event for such a great cause as Stack Up, and thanks to Ninjembro for helping me out with commentary today. Like I said before, this is a game that means a whole lot to me, and it introduced me to speedrunning, and GSA and speedrun in general have done so much for that community, and I wouldn't be really doing this with my spare time and having a great time playing video games if it wasn't for all the great work you guys do. So thanks so much for that.
Make sure you write down that password.
Oh yeah, I better write down that password. But next up, we have Build Nye, who I think I saw in the chat a couple times here as well. He's playing Star Wars Jedi Academy, so make sure you tune in to see that. But thank you guys for watching. I'm always playing janky NES games like this on my channel as well, which is just twitch.tv/MixMastaPJ. So if you want to see some more NES garbage that people probably shouldn't be playing, and I still am 35 years later, then by all means, come check it out.